Welcome to MeetingPoint for SharePoint. In this video we'll look at a few basic concepts and also create our first meeting date. We'll then create the meeting workspace for that meeting. In subsequent videos in the series, we'll prepare, record and publish the meeting. Another video in the series will show you how the follow-on functionality works, allowing you to relate one meeting to another, carrying forward minutes, actions and decisions from one meeting to the next, so that you can check these items and then mark them as discharged or ongoing. MeetingPoint for SharePoint offers all the tools you'll need to automate the management of your meetings within your organization. It easily and powerfully handles attendees, agenda, objectives, resources, documents, minutes, decisions, actions, tasks, follow-on meetings, and much more. The browser-based system is defined as two separate interfaces. First, the Meeting Manager interface. This is where authorized people prepare, record and publish meetings. The Meeting Manager interface and functionality is powerful and intuitive enough that any number of users can manage any number of meetings at the same time. The second interface, called My Meetings, is where all other users log in and see not only the details and documents from past meetings they attended, but they can also record their attendance intentions for forthcoming meetings too. Most importantly, they can also manage their responsibilities, such as agenda items, resources, and documents assigned to them. They can also manage actions and tasks assigned to them. There is a separate video in this series on the My Meetings interface. MeetingPoint for SharePoint has been designed so that users enter any detail the system needs, just once. All pages and entry forms are documented, and if you need help, it's just a click away. All communication between meeting managers and attendees is typically achieved with a click to send an email. Before we start though, one thing to note is that you don't need to host a SharePoint farm to enjoy the benefits of this complete meeting lifecycle solution, because the system is available as a hosted solution or as a licensed product. That said, let's show you how easy it is to prepare, record and publish a meeting. In this video series, we'll walk through the complete meeting lifecycle. In this video, we'll create a meeting date and show how easy it is to then generate a meeting workspace. In subsequent videos, we'll prepare, record and publish the meeting and then work with the follow-up meeting so that you can see how the system handles previous, ongoing and discharged items under the agenda. Let's start by introducing you to MeetingPoint for SharePoint. This is a browser-based product, so let's open up a browser and navigate to our hosted site. Every hosted site has a unique address, and users log in securely using a registered username and password. We are logging in as an authorized meeting manager, so we'll see this interface by default, the Meeting Manager interface. Let's take a quick look around before we start working on our new meeting. MeetingPoint for SharePoint can work with as many SharePoint calendars as you like. You may want a separate calendar for a department or division within your organization. Today, we're using the MeetingPoint default calendar. The system uses the concept of a meeting series, and you can have as many as you like. In this particular list, you'll see plenty of options, but you can adjust this list easily. A meeting series specifies that any meetings you add under the series have the ability to be linked to each other in terms of follow-on meetings. But this is in fact optional, which means the system is incredibly flexible. Our meeting series can contain meeting dates that are either recurring or ad hoc. You can include both types in a meeting series, and this is one of the reasons why MeetingPoint for SharePoint is so powerful. For our example, we'll select board meetings as our meeting series. Next, we'll want to create a meeting date. Existing meeting dates within the selected series are highlighted here. We'll create a new meeting in a blank date. There are other ways to create meeting dates, such as via a SharePoint calendar. If you need to automatically create recurring meetings, such as a meeting that occurs on the first Tuesday of the month, say, you would use the calendar interface, like this. If you want to create a meeting to start off a set of meetings that will follow on from each other, then you can create that meeting in either the full calendar interface or by clicking on a date in this calendar. So if you want to pre-book a set of recurring dates, then use the calendar interface. But if you want to book dates as you progress and conclude each meeting, then simply start with this interface and let MeetingPoint for SharePoint take care of the follow-up meetings for you via the Next Meeting functionality built into the handling of the next meeting minute when recording your meeting. So we'll select a blank date, but you should note that if you need to, you can create more than one meeting on the same date, even if they belong to the same meeting series. Next, we're prompted to fill in a few details for our meeting based on the selected calendar and selected meeting series. Let's enter a meeting title and select a meeting type. The meeting type pick list and others can be added to on the fly by entering a new type into the selection drop-down box and hitting enter or the tab key. Let's create a new meeting type. Meeting types allow you to categorize your meetings at another level than the meeting series. This makes for powerful reporting. Our start date has been set for us because we clicked on an empty calendar date, but we'll also set a time here, or we can change the date if we wish. We'll enter a duration in minutes, and this is used simply to block this time in your calendar. We'll select a location and a room or create a new one on the fly. We could enter a conference call phone number and PIN if we wish. This will be shown to users in all emails they receive, such as invites and resource allocation reminders. Now we can click the Create Meeting button. Having created the actual meeting date in the calendar, we'll now need to create a workspace for our meeting. The workspace is where all the information about the meeting is stored, including the attendees, agenda, objectives, resources and documents that are needed to specify our new meeting. There can be 1, 2 or 3 options available when you create a workspace, depending on how many previously entered or concluded meetings you have in the system for the selected series. The first option is to create a brand new workspace that doesn't contain any information yet. The second option, if data is available, is to copy a previous workspace. This saves time because all your attendees, agenda, resources, documents and objectives will be copied into your new workspace. You can then add or remove items if required. The third option is to extend a previous meeting. Not only will you copy attendees, agenda, resources, documents and objectives, as you would with the copy option, but you'll also bring forward previous minutes, decisions and actions, allowing you to treat your new meeting as a follow-on meeting to the one you extend from. As you'll see later, this extend option is automatically handled when you declare a next meeting date in your current meeting. You'll optionally be offered the chance to extend the workspace into the next meeting date you create, under the Next Meeting Agenda item. You can extend the meeting manually any time after you conclude the current meeting. More on this later. We'll just create a new workspace for now. You can see now that MeetingPoint for SharePoint has created an empty meeting workspace for us. Here is where we'll prepare, record, and publish our meeting. You'll see a familiar tabbed interface. Under Prepare, we can create and add attendees, create and structure the agenda, create objectives, resources, and documents. The next video in the series looks at preparing a meeting in detail.